The Chevrolet Volt, GM's award-winning and somewhat controversial offering into the then-emerging green car market, was first seen by attendees of the 2007 North American International Auto Show in Detroit, looking absolutely nothing like the rather staid production version. Production of the Volt began in December of 2010 for the 2011 model year. Outside the U.S. market, internationally, the Volt entered production in 2011 and was called the Holden Volt in Australia and New Zealand, the Buick Velte 5 in China, and the Vauxhall Ampera in the UK. The rest of the European market received a similar Opel Ampera. The finalized production version of the car was publicly unveiled at GM's Renaissance Tower in their Winter Garden headquarters in Detroit, Michigan on September 16, 2008 for the company's centennial celebration. In today's review, we look back at the first generation Chevrolet Volt. This car is painted in diamond white tri-coat metallic and features a premium light neutral and jet black leather interior. Its when new pricing is shown to the left, and a full options list is in the description box below. And the first thing is first, a powertrain. The Volt officially is not a hybrid vehicle, but rather a range-extended electric vehicle. It operates much like that of a diesel locomotive, where the fuel-powered internal combustion engine produces electricity for the onboard batteries, generator, and electric motors as part of the VolTec system. In addition to running fully electric for approximately 35 miles, the gasoline engine powers an electric generator to power the vehicle. The engine is never under load in the powertrain. In January of 2015, again at the North American International Auto Show, Chevrolet unveiled the second and ultimately last generation of the Volt for the 2016 model year. Production of the Volt ended in March of 2019 with the reasoning for declining sales of four-door sedan cars. Now for that powertrain. A complicated system of generators, electric motors, batteries, and a gasoline engine that all make up the GM VolTec system. It starts with a 1.4-liter dual overhead cam 16-valve EcoFLEX inline 4-cylinder engine that is of cast iron block and aluminum head construction with port fuel injection and a 10.5:1 compression ratio. This engine creates 84 horsepower and 93 pound-feet of torque, and its sole job is to provide the electric generator power during range-extending operation and is never under load. The electric motor that runs off the 16 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery packs itself creates 149 horsepower and 368 pound-feet of torque. In October of 2011, Car and Driver magazine tested their Volt from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 9.2 seconds, 0 to 100 miles per hour in 30.3 seconds. The quarter mile was reached in 17 seconds at 82 miles per hour, with its top speed governor limited to 101 miles per hour. The Volt batteries hold 16 kilowatt hours of energy and consume, in full electric mode, 36 kilowatt hours per 100 miles driven and feature an estimated total driving range of 35 all-electric miles. When the batteries are depleted, the gasoline engine kicks in to supply electrical power to the 74 horsepower generator, in which the gasoline motor consumes from its 9.4 US gallon fuel tank and consumes 2.7 gallons per 100 miles driven, with an estimated total driving range of 380 miles. In theory, the Volt can travel indefinitely on electric power if the vehicle is driven short distances and charged every day. For traveling long distances, the total estimated driving range of the Volt is 415 miles. There is but one transmission available for the Volt, and that is the VolTec 4ET50 multi-mode electric single-speed reduction transaxle that is periodically clutch-linked to a planetary gear set to improve efficiency. The transmission features driver-selectable modes, including normal, sport, and mountain, the latter of which maintains a reserve of electrical charge of the high-voltage battery for improved grade climbing performance. Alright, taking a look around the rear of the Volt. As you can see, it does have a camback style to it. It is a hatchback vehicle. One other nice thing I like is this jet black roof that it has. It does sweep back over this backlight into the rear deck lid, which kind of forms into a vestigial spoiler. It spills into these LED tail lamps that are actually really nicely styled. You got gloss black trim. It's all red back here. There's no orange or anything like that for the turn signals, so they're all dual purpose, but they are LED. That jet black continues into this rear liftgate, and on the white car it actually looks really good. This right here is actually a window. Rear ultrasonic parking sensors, and this little cutout here is your backup light. Along the profile of the Volt, the car looks unassuming and not much different from other Chevrolet vehicles of this era, which is a positive. Most alternative fuel drivers like the fact that their car doesn't look like a spaceship. The Volt sits on the GM Delta 2 platform with a 105.7-inch wheelbase and an overall length of 177.1 inches, similar to that of the Chevrolet Cruze, a platform stablemate. Steering on the Volt is electrically assisted vehicle speed-sensitive variable rate rack and pinion with a ZF-supplied rack-mounted motor. It features 2.8 turns lock-to-lock with a 36-foot turning radius. Wheels are the $595 optional 17 by 7.5 polished lightweight forged aluminum wheels with P215 55R17 low rolling resistance BSW all-season tires. Factory tires were the Goodyear Fuel Maxes. Brakes are 4-wheel disc brakes with 11.8-inch vented rotors up front and 11.5-inch vented rotors in the rear, and featured an electric parking brake. They are assisted by 4-channel ABS with dynamic rear brake proportioning, full regenerative braking, all-speed traction control, and StabiliTrak. The brakes can halt the Volt from 70 miles per hour to 0 and 176 feet. Alright, so taking a look around the front of the Volt, as you can see, even though it is a dual power plant vehicle, electric and gasoline, it doesn't look any different than any other car really on the road. Pretty conservative overall styling. One element I really like is this kick-up hockey stick-like accent on the back near the back door, and this gloss black trim that runs down the belt line. It looks really good offset on this white tri-coat paint. Got these really nice wing mirrors here, aerodynamically styled. Of course, they do have LED repeaters. You do have the Volt logo there on the trim plate. Clear lens projector beam halogen headlamps inside black bezels. Mounted down below, you have your turn indicators. This also has front ultrasonic parking sensors, which is a nice feature. Helps with pedestrian detection as well. These stainless steel trims inside the grille surround look really nice. Alright, and while most cars in this price point do have remote start, the Volt is no exception. However, it is a little bit different. This vehicle actually has what's called remote conditioning. It's activated by this button here. To operate it is just as easy as a remote start. You basically lock the vehicle and then press and hold the remote conditioning button. So what this does is it puts the car in EV mode, and it also preconditions the climate control and all that kind of thing inside the vehicle. And of course, this vehicle is also equipped with proximity smart key access. Just a quick look at the remote. Not that much different from other GM keys of this era. Have the Chevy badge back here. It is a switchblade key. And just a quick look at the buttons. Lock, unlock. This opens up your charge port door. This is your preconditioning, and of course your panic alarm. Alright, to activate or to lock and unlock the vehicle is easy. Locate the chrome button on the door handle. Alright, the vehicle is now locked. And to unlock, simply press that button again. Alright, inside we actually find a really nice interior. It does have the premium interior group with this two-tone leather. jet black with the light neutral tan, especially in this gloss panel here. It's a plastic bezel. Feels really good. Soft vinyl touch. You got the Dune armrest here. You've also got these nice gloss graphite accent panels here. It is fully power, so you have your power mirrors, power windows, and power window lockouts. The power lock is on the center console. You've also got chrome door pulls. These are your release buttons for your fuel door release and your charge port, fuel door and charge port. Of course, this vehicle is also equipped with the premium Bose audio system. And while this vehicle does not have heads-up display, and this kind of looks like the GM heads-up display controller, this actually controls your reconfigurable LCD instrument cluster. We'll go over that. And down here you have your hood release. And this car is equipped with the all-weather slush mats. We also have a leather-wrapped tilt and telescoping steering wheel. Alright, taking a look at the seats. The seats are actually very comfortable, very supportive. They are the two-tone jet black and light neutral. Perforated seating or leather accents here. You've also got some ice blue stitching. It is important to note that the seats on the Volt are manually adjustable. They adjust for height, seat back, and they also adjust fore and aft for seat adjustment. Alright, we're going to pan through the interior now and show more details. As you can see, nice, fluidic, easy to use power assisted steering. As stated before, it is a leather wrapped steering wheel. 3-spoke design, pretty typical of GM vehicles of this era. You have these chrome accents down here, piano black trim on the buttons. So over here on the left hand side are your cruise controls, and on the right hand side are your Bluetooth audio and phone controls and your various stereo controls here. Alright, on the left hand stalk is basically just your headlamp controls and your turn signal controls. You can also flash your beams. And this little button here is actually the pedestrian alert horn. It's a pretty interesting thing. This vehicle is actually turned on right now, but there's no power coming through, or no sound, because it's all electric. So if you're at a low speed and your vehicle is in drive, you press that button on the stalk and it'll sound that pedestrian horn. It's just a quick rapid succession of horn chirps in kind of a friendly manner, just to let people know that you're there. And here's our main display, shown in a small little LCD display panel here, flanked on both sides by warning lamps. So as you can see, it's actually pretty easy to read. You have your speed right there in the middle, gear location, your accelerate and brake power meter. This is your gasoline tank, your battery here, which our battery is not charged. It also shows whether or not the rear seat passenger is belted, your total range, and the circular area down here is basically your menus. Those menus are accessed by this button that we've mentioned before. You have a rotating switch, a push button for select, configuration, and back, and we'll go over all that. So by rotating the button, basically it just activates all your different menus. So we have Trip A, Trip B, our oil remaining life, tire pressure, vehicle messages, your units, you can change from metric to US. And we've also got our tutorial mode here, and navigation. By hitting the config button, it basically just turns the display around. This one here shows your gasoline and your battery, while this one here is more performance oriented with the gasoline gauge and your performance and braking acceleration. Alright, now let's pan over the top of the dash. One thing I like is how this panel here from the door panel almost fluidically flows into the wings on the top of the dashboard. It does so on both sides. And that dune accent panel goes across. It looks really, really nice. As you can see, it continues on the passenger side as well. Alright, top of the dash, small amount of storage with a 12-volt power point. Alright, and here we are looking at the center display. Funny story, this is actually the third take I'm doing of this center stack because it's not laid out the best, so it took some studying of this to actually kind of get used to the controls for this video. So we're going to go over it. First and foremost, we have a really nice touchscreen display here. It's crisp and clear, bright graphics. It's easy to read in any light condition. Right now we're showing navigation, and of course you can drag your finger across it. It's not the most responsive, but understand that this vehicle is a 2012, not a 2020. And our infotainment systems have greatly been upgraded since. But for the purposes of what this car can do, this is an excellent little system here. So in the center stack on this graphite panel, we have a bunch of touch sensitive buttons. They're not actually like buttons themselves, they're just touch sensitive. So here we're in navigation, but here is the climate hot button. There's no rhyme or reason to how these buttons are laid out. It is not very ergonomic, and if you're driving, it's kind of hard at a glance to get to them. But anyway, so right now we're in our climate control. So we have our panel distribution, fan speed. We've also got heated seat controls here. We can do fan only, eco mode, and comfort mode. And then we can also adjust our temperature. It is a dual zone climate control. Here is our radio. AM, FM, Sirius XM satellite radio. Hard disk drive, DVD, auxiliary inputs, and things of that nature. Config actually goes into our configuration menu. So like if we hit the tune menu button here, we could do rear camera options, dimming mode, display off. We can hit the back button here. We've also got various vehicle settings, phone controls, time, all that kind of stuff. Alright, so that's the top row, climate control, radio controls, and you have hot buttons for your heated seats as well, which is a nice, that you don't have to actually go into the display screen. And of course your CD player right here, hazard warning switch. Alright, let's move down to the second level here. We have our power button here that glows blue when it's ready. This is our drive mode selector, which we saw in the transmission portion of the vehicle. And this right here activates our power flow. It's a neat little animation that happens when you press this button. So this actually goes into our power flow for electric and gasoline vehicles. So we have our engine up front, our battery cells in the middle, and it shows basically where our power is being distributed. We also have our charging history and our energy info. Alright, and then we have our seek and scan, repeat info, and all that kind of stuff. Play, pause, phone controls here, record, delete for voice recordings. Then we have our navigation and destination buttons, so we'll hit the nav button here. Brings us back to our nav screen. Hitting the destination, of course, access our destination. Alright, and over here, sorry that was a lot, but it's a lot to go over. Then we have our lock and unlock button, electronic parking brake. Here is our shift lever. Nice amount of storage here. And of course, dual front cup holders, a padded armrest that's wrapped in vinyl, and opening up reveals a nice amount of deep storage. You've also got a 12-volt power point, USB port, and auxiliary input jack. Overall, I actually like the interior of the Volt. Being the first generation, it's not as refined as the newest one, but it's still a very nice car. Good overall around visibility and seat comfort. It's also very quiet inside the cabin. Overhead, we have an automatic dimming rearview mirror. And on our overhead panel, we have overhead reading lights. We've also got our dome light override control. This button here turns off the parking sensors. This is our traction control, OnStar control systems, and 3-channel home link and universal garage door opener. On the sun visors, we do have illuminated vanity mirrors, and of course the sun visors swing out and they slide out on extension rails. Alright, now let's take a look at the rear seat. Nice wide opening doors. Alright, and as you can see, the rear seat doors are a little bit different than the front seats. They do not have the dune accents up here in the gloss panel, but they do have the armrest here that are in that dune. And of course you also have that graphite accent here with the power window switch and a chrome door pull, and a small amount of storage in the door pocket, which is a nice little touch. As you can see, the Volt, even in its first generation, it still is to this day, even after its discontinuation, only seats 2 across in the rear. We've got individual bucket seats that look very similar to that of the front seats. They have high adjustable head restraints, the same perforated leather inserts, and ice blue stitching. Alright, and looking down the center tunnel here, you'll see an absence of air vents. You do have a small amount of storage here with a 12-volt power point and 2 cup holders. Overhead, you have passenger assist handles. Those are notably absent in the front seats, and overhead reading lights. There are also seat back mat pockets located in the seat backs of the front seats. And if you wish to fold your seats in the Volt, it's very easy. Just behind the seat belt in this trim plate, there is a release lever, and a red light or a red actuator will pop up, indicating that the seat is actually unlocked. I have the driver's seat far back, but the seats do fold actually flat. Alright, and if you wish to fold the seats, it's very easy. Just underneath the seat belt, there's a release lever here, and a red little plunger will open up or pop up, indicate that the seat is unlocked. As you can see, nice flat storage. All right, let's take a look at the luggage area now. Inside this little indentation underneath the Volt logo is a membrane switch. Just lift that up on hydraulic struts. As you can see, the hatchback opens up. As we can see here, a very nice cargo area indeed. Nice flat floor, big thick rubber floor mat. It's a Volt branded one. About 20 cubic feet of storage here. This is our household charger here. Plugs into the regular household outlet, and of course plugs into your Volt charge port. Alright, over here in this little panel, we just have fuse relays and things of that nature. We've also got a electrical disconnect in the case of emergency. So it is basically a firefighter's access panel. As you can see, it does have illumination back here. You've also got some grocery bag tie-down hooks. Over on the right-hand side is just a concealed storage panel. Alright, and here's the view with the seats folded. As you can see, it does expand out pretty nicely. Alright, and to close it, we're just gonna Alrighty, this does conclude our in-depth walk-around look at the 2012 Chevrolet Volt. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please comment down below. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/neighborhoodcarreviews and Instagram at BrensoJ1. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.